Hello everybody, this is Brian from Breaking Down Security, and if you've clicked on the link, you know you're about to go through a quick tutorial on how to use GPG or PGP in this case. So I'm not going to go into the particulars of either one of those because we did a podcast on it, and you can see the link to the podcast that we discussed in some pretty decent detail on everything about the history of it and why you would use them. So what I'm going to do today is discuss how to generate a key, how to encrypt a file, and we'll whatever time we have left, we'll go from there. So I'm going to teach you the Linux and the Mac OS version first, because that is probably the most difficult because it uses a lot of command line in the Linux side. I've got my Kali Linux up right now, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to generate a key. When you generate a key, the options you're given for defaults are ones that are that make the keys created in GPG or PGP interoperable. So if you create the key in GPG, it'll work in Open PGP or in the PGP application. So you have four options: RSA and RSA. The first one is the digital signature. The second one is what encryption you want to use. Right now, Open PGP or PGP only use the RSA encryption algorithms or El-Gamal. So if you see them over here on this side, you'll see the different ciphers that are used. So I'm going to use option one because I want to sign and encrypt files and emails. So one of the other things is when you're creating this, you need a lot of entropy. And I found that at least on Kali, there didn't appear to be any way of successfully gathering entropy that didn't take forever. A 4096 bit for me took, well, I actually never got it completed. 1024 took about a half an hour. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's running in a VM and doesn't have access to a proper random number generator. So I had to install a program called rngd tools, and rngd tools using apt-get, and then I made it run rngd daemon and pull from dev urandom, which seemed to speed it up. I was actually able to successfully pull a 4096 in less than a minute using this technique. So I would suggest not making your keys never expire. That leads to a false sense of security. I would for this purpose I'm going to make it expire after 1 day, but I would maybe replace it after a year, or if you're more paranoid, you would use a key for contacting a certain person, use another key to contact somebody else, use one for your job, that kind of thing. So we're going to create the key. Real name, I already have one called Bob and Harry, so for this example I'm going to use Alice, and then Alice at alice.org, or comment Alice's key. And when you're done, you can either go back in and change whatever you want on there. You can just say OK or quit. So create a passphrase. You want to make the passphrase long. You want to make it like a passphrase like, I don't know, we the people of the United States, or something like that. You want to make it like the beginning of you can make it a phrase in a book, or my very educated mother just served us, noodles for the mnemonic device for the planets, or whatever. Something you can remember, something that's long and something that's secure with a number, a special character, spaces, that kind of thing. But for this example, I'm just going to use password 3. Oh. 3. There we go. So now it's taking the entropy created from rngd daemon and dev urandom and has created a key in less than a minute, actually less than 15 seconds. So there's a key. It's been created, a private and a public key. So you can go in and look at listed keys. So there's the 3 keys. I've got Bobby's, Harry's, and Alice's. And you can also go in and look at the secret keys that exist on the box. So Harry and Alice's are both in there. So once you've done that, you can sign emails. You can, for not, to prove that you are who you say you are when you're sending an email, which can be helpful. You can encrypt files. You can decrypt files. You can do all kinds of fun stuff. So let's go ahead and create a file. We'll call it vi Harry. All right. So we'll say, hey Bob. Oops. Hey Bob. Hope to see you tomorrow, Harry. All right, so we're going to save that file. And if we go more Harry, it says, hey Bob, hope to see you tomorrow. The idea is we're going to take a file and we're going to encrypt it and then email it to Bob. But what we want to do is we want to make sure nobody else can see it except Bob. So if you can see here, we have the public key of Bob, or Bobby in this case. So what we'll do is we will go GPG, encrypt, -E, it's super simple, and then the file name, Harry. And then we will go, we want the user ID, so the user ID in this case would be Bobby. So you would say Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y. There you go. So it said, you're not certain you trust Bobby. There's no way to actually prove that he actually made this. Do you really want to trust him? So say yes. So now that you're done, you've added all the people. You can add as many people as you want, as a matter of fact. If you wanted to add Bob, Harry, and Alice, all these people would have the ability to, it's all encrypted by each one of these people's keys, and each one of them would be able to decrypt it, which is nice. So in case you had multiple people in an email that needed to be able to look at a file, you can encrypt it. You must have everybody's public key, and that's what I've did. I've added Bobby's public key. So you can add as many people as you want, or you can just say enter, and that's it. So right now, if you go ls Harry, you see there's the original file Harry. There's harry.pgp, and there's originally when I started the podcast, I had I copied Harry's key over here so that I would be able to do that, to import it in. So that's from earlier, so that's not actually Harry's public key. So ls Harry. So if you go vi harry.gpg, you see it's full of junk. You can't read it. It's encrypted. So, all right, so I've done that. Now what I need to do is I need to quote unquote mail it to Bob, or to Bob in this case, because that's who I want to send it to. So there are numerous programs you can use. Thunderbird has Enigmail for a plugin to create using PGP or GPG keys. You can use ClauseMail, which has it kind of built in. In a minute, I will go to the Windows VM that I have that will show you an Outlook plugin for something called GPG for Win. It's kind of buggy. I've never actually gotten it to work properly, and it actually causes Outlook to kind of freeze sometimes, so you have to disable the plugin anyway. So the best luck that I've had is I will create an email with a to and a from recipient, put in a subject line called hey Bob or something like that, and then encrypt the body of the email in an attachment like harry.pgp. In this case, I will go over to the iTerminal here and scp root at 10.00.17 harry.gpg to there. And I will pull that file over. Okay, so I've done that. Now in Mac, the commands are the same on the command line, but if you don't want to do that, you download GPG Tools, which gives you the GPG, front end here. You go GPG help. You get all the same options that the Mac version or this version has. Except you get a fancy GUI, and you can create a key pair much in the same way as you do on the command line, except it's a little easier, Jim at jimdangit.com, and You have Jim, man, I don't know what that's all about. Same options, you can do RSA, LGMAL, DSA, RSA for just an identity key. It even gives you the option to upload a key if you want to register it to a PGP server like pgp.mit.edu, which is a pretty well-known one. You can also set key length up to 4096. You can set it to expire on the 28th or, sometime in 2250 if you want to. You can generate the key that way. Let's just call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see that right there. See, there you go. And you can show typing, and it says, oh, you've insecure password. Password should be at least 8 characters long. It should be probably older. I'm going to take this anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Show typing. And then it will create one called Jim and Jam and give you a code and everything. And gonna have to give it some entropy. Gonna move stuff around. There we go. Let's move the characters around. Anywho, while that's generating, you go into the commands here, and it's exactly the same here. Now, I have a VM. Oh, there you go. See, it's done. So there's Jim's. He's got the security token and the private and public key. You see it expires. Apparently it doesn't like 2250, so that may be a bug that, looks like it expired just now, as a matter of fact. So it's already going to be unusable. That's how bad it is. All right, so in Windows, you have GPG for Win, which is a program you can use. There's you go to gpgforwin.org. You can download it. 2.2.2 came out September 4th, 2014. It's pretty nice. You can download the whole thing, or you can download pieces of it. There's GNU PG, which is the basic stuff that has the back end, all the crypto and whatever. Cleopatra is it manages your keys for you, like a key ring in Mac. You have GPA, which is the key manager, helps you create keys. This one will allow you to import keys in. You can do the same thing with the GNU Privacy Manager. If you want to, you can create a key real quick here. It's much the same. Create a new key, put your name in, Joan D. Remember, you got to have 5 characters. If you notice, all of these require at least 5 characters. So they all kind of use everything on the back end, the GPG on the back end. So you create joan@joan.com. You can forward. You can create a backup copy later if you want to. Create a passphrase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, look at that, only 60%. Funnily enough, password 2 is 90% quality. That's how sad that is. So I created password 2. And it's going to create a key and so there you go. There's Jones right there. Never expires. You can look at the keys on that. You can send the keys somewhere if you want to. It will upload them to the key. Oh, there's another one. There's another PGP server. If you want to upload your keys to GNUPG.net, you can do that. The problem with that is, let's say my colleague on the podcast, Mr. Betcher, creates a key, calls it Brian Break, uploads that key to GNUPG.net. Nobody can tell it actually belongs to me because the web of trust that we mentioned in the podcast has not been established. Mr. Betcher can't obviously get somebody to go, hey, my name's Brian Betcher. I would like you to sign a key, but it's got Brian Break's name on it. So you don't know who's actually signing or if the key's actually been spoofed or if the person is actually who they say they are on the public side. So that's one thing you got to remember. The other thing is when you're sending emails and you're signing them with your identity cert, the to and the from message fields are going to be exposed, and the public and the subject line. So you do not want to you do not want to believe that you're completely secure. As we've seen in the past, they use metadata. Nation states and other organizations use metadata to track people. So I can send an email to Mr. Betcher. He can send them back to me. If it's got an encrypted email in it, the headers are still unencrypted. So even if they don't know what the contents of the email are, they will know that I have contacted Mr. Betcher and Mr. Betcher's contacted me. So some of the things in the Windows side here, you've got Cleopatra, which of course is another key manager. It'll also allow you to look up certs on servers. This is the GPGOL is the Outlook plugin, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. I found I've had to disable it after a while because it does delay the startup. Here's a GPG extension for Windows Explorer, which is nice because then all you've got to do is, let me minimize this. You right click on an email and you can go in and sign and encrypt the files. And if you have more than one file, you can archive all the files into one file with tar. And then you can sign and encrypt. So you can sign with Joan and take Alice's key and sign it as well. And oh yeah, so if I want to send it to Joan, I have Joan's public and private key pair, so I can sign it as Joan and use her passphrase, password 2. And okay, so I already did this before as part of the, I was testing stuff out, so I'm going to overwrite that. So it succeeded, so I created a brand new GPG key, or a brand new file. So the email originally said, "Hey Bob, nice car, see you tomorrow, Brian." But if I open it in Notepad now, it's all junk. It's all just gobbledygook. So you can't tell what it is until you decrypt it later on. And to do so, you just right-click on it and say decrypt and verify. And decrypt and verify. Oh, it failed. So you gotta do it again. Decrypt and verify. So input files, a detached signature. Nope. Let's see. Interesting. Oh, I know why. Because when you're decrypting with that, you need to have everybody's stuff in there. So file, unpack it. There you go. Decrypt. So it said decryption failed. Show details. One unknown recipient. I wonder why that is. Let me go back in and delete it. Yes. All right, let me not go too fast here. Sign and encrypt. Archive, sign and encrypt. So I want to... okay, I think you have to have... I'm going to add Alice's to that. So it's going to be encrypted by Alice. And if you encrypt it, you also have to sign it as Joan. Or you have to also sign it as Alice. There we go. So this may not work because I may have forgotten what... Okay, overwrite. Okay, so it succeeded. All right, finish. Now, decrypt and verify. Okay, decrypt and verify. PASSWRD2. There you go, and it worked. See, came back. There's the email. Actually, let me go ahead and delete these. Yes. Now let's give it another try real quick here. Make sure. I know it worked because it said it succeeded. So right click, decrypt and verify. There it is. All right, so email.tar.gz.2, and there it is right there. Email, open, hey Bob, nice car. Just like this one. See? So that's the way to do it in Windows. You can encrypt and decrypt. You know, I would just get I have clause mail in here, I just haven't set it up because I really don't want to like set up my personal Gmail in here because I use a web interface. So if you use a web interface like Gmail, write the email like this, encrypt it using this, just drag it into your Gmail and then send it. But just know that your headers are going to be unencrypted. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let us know. We are at bds.podcast@gmail.com. You can also find me on @BrianBreak, and we're also on Facebook. Look for Breaking Down Security fan page there, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you come back soon. Thanks.